Hi. Welcome to my tube. I am Standing Turtle. Heyoka, empath. I just like having these little talks on the way I feel about things, and I'm clumsy as fuck. It's like, I defy gravity. I repel things. I have the ability of telekinesis, straight up, I truly do. I get it from my mom. I do videos about it. I talk about it all the time. I do it for people I know. Do it for strangers. I'm like, hey, want to see my lighter trick? People are like, what? I'm like, yeah, you think I'd have more income, right? It wasn't time. See, if I got too much too fast, my ego would explode, and I'd end up just like other people on my birthday that live too much in their ego. Hugh Hefner. Oh God, that guy was he lived on ego until he was a decrepit old sad freaking pathetic man. Controller, one of the prime controllers, man. I know his headspace. I was born on the same day. Jenna Jameson too. I think she came back in her spirit sometimes, but people, they live in their ego. They change their face. They want to look like somebody else, or an idea of representation of an idea of someone in their mind that they saw a picture of when they were early in childhood that reminded them of something. That's why mostly people wear like the cologne, the smell goods, the fragrances that they wear and stuff like that. It's because people that they know have always worn it. It reminds them, because we're all secular. It's all quantum, really. So there's a lot of ambient air. I got the window unit on. I got the oscillating fan on. It's not oscillating, but they're already popping off the loud noise. Why? You know what? Let's go back to the light show instead of firecrackers and fireworks and explosives and representations of things that celebrate death and destruction. Let's go back to the light show. It's a lot more quiet. It's a lot more cost effective. And growing up, I got to see some of the good ones. I got to see a light show one time in the Reading Planetarium. That was freaking cool. To Pink Floyd. Yeah, I've had some pretty wild experiences. Life has been pretty good to me. Oh, the TV stopped. I'm going to start that again because Mom just went and laid down, and she likes the background music or sound. She likes listening to Longmire for bedtime stories. Ugh. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Okay, where was I? I was thinking about places I've been in before for 4th of July's. I've been in some pretty cool places. I've seen some pretty cool things, There's a place, you grew up in Northern California, or you ever all been through, spent any time in Redding in California at all. That's my homeland. That's where I think I'm about to go back to. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's just kind of the planning stages right now. I can't really decide on land on anything. It's just the planning stages right now. So just throwing things out in the universe. And there's the Cascade Theater, and that Cascade Theater has carried so much history, and as long as Reading was established, and I know other people and substantial pillars in that community, like Opal Fox. My mom was like a daughter figure. She was like a mom to my mom. She was the first woman to work in the kitchen and the Shasta Dam crew. So I know these vibrational frequencies of strong people. It's like I've encountered these personalities, these archetypes of just like these pillars of strength, of integrity, and I've learned from some of the best, that didn't sell out to the first highest bidder, And it's not that I understand. There's been times in my life that I would have sold. That's why my tube is so tiny, is because there are times that I would have sold out. There's times in the last couple years that after my car got repoed, and I was really scared about money, I was really fit too. There ain't no demographic for me on Pornhub. I had like a freaking 8-pack abs. I mean, I'm like, I got carded for alcohol, like legitimately at over 40 years old. I don't even make this shit up because it's just too unbelievable. I just laugh. I'm like, you know who gets mad at people that get carded? The people that aren't at age. Because us old people that get carded, I'm just like, yeah. I was 42 last time I got carded for alcohol. I wasn't even buying it for me the last time I was carded for alcohol. Anyway, so yeah, I lived in the neighborhood I lived in Omaha. It was right down the street with that picture. That there's a famous picture that circulated a few years back. There was an Ussie that a kid got, like a young kid, 11, 12, 13 years old, whatever, 15, I don't know. They all look young to me. Of he and Warren Buffett and what's that guy's name? Paul McCartney on the bench outside of Jerry's, or the Ted and Wally's, the creamery. Not Ted and Wally's. It was the eatery creamery on the corner in Dundee, right there next to the falafel place. That's where they were kicking it, having ice cream. Because he had a show the next night in Lincoln, so they were hanging out, having ice cream, you know. It was like a couple blocks from where I lived. Yeah. And that house even went so, I don't know. Anyway, so people like to celebrate what this country is. Well, I have an idea of what the country would have been if anyone that came over would have just cooperated. I don't care what the situation is. I don't care what the century it was, but whoever came over, and instead of conquering and taking or whatever, that misogynistic patriarchal mentality, if they would have just cooperated with my ancestors and learned the ways of my ancestors, and they did. They just took it and learned them in an opportunistic way, and it's just not fair, and it hasn't been fair for a very long time. And I understand the difference between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law, and I understand. I went into the Air Force as a 26-year-old woman. I mean, most 26-year-olds know better. You know, it's for kids. And when a lot of times when people join that club, they stay in that same mentality because it's all the same bros club. It's all who you know, and you know, everybody gets the cool assignments as long as you freaking, you know, do play the game. And I only did 6 years because I did it to go to college because I knew I was going to have to look out for Ma for you know, my whole life. I don't have kids, but we're a team, and promised her when I was 15 that it was just her and me, you know, that I would never put her in an assisted living facility or a home or anything like that. Ever. I mean, the thought of that. I mean, for people to do that, and those places are like $4 or $5 grand a month, you know. But it's all blood money because the people that can afford it, you know, are the really important people that get all the money for making all the decisions that got the world to where we are now, right? I mean, I think about all the money, all the resources that they're spending on that freaking pony show. It's all a pony show. I haven't had running water in 3 years. I'm a veteran, freaking decorated veteran, freaking, and DT's mom and dad. His dad was a draft dodger, and his mom was naturalized. That means she was given a waiver because of freaking who she was. She got to take cups to be a citizen in this country. So someone that's pushing immigration and all these rights and stuff like that, you don't really have the authority to say, because that ain't your path. You ain't walked the path. And so I just look at all this stuff that they're celebrating as just more pageantry. It's more white man's chess and pageantry, and look what I can do, and I made this happen, and I want the Jets to fly over, and I want them to play Lee Greenwood, and I want, you know, the freaking fireworks to blow out the 4 presidents' ass on freaking, you know, this monument and whatever. And it's just like, hey, can I get freaking $1,000 a month? Can I get like some help to? I just want to buy a couple acres in Northern California. Can I make that happen? Well, because if you can fucking have like F-16s and F-15s flying around swinging your dick, can I just have a little piece, please? And I'll just keep telling my stories about, spirit and energy and balance, and hopefully that most of these men come into balance, that they have a feminine energy inside them and stop denying it. And it's cool if you're a bottom bitch sometime. It's okay. You can, yeah, being top dog, dominance, okay, that's cool. But sometimes you need to be a bottom bitch, guys. And I think a lot of these guys know that and they like it because, I was ignorant. I learned about gay in a way. And so many kids, so many people, you're so proud of these military war heroes, and it's just like, dude, they went and they're just guys just doing guy things in a different country. And now look at all the DNA stuff, and people are finding out, oh God, he had a whole other family over there, and they're finding out, oh, they weren't really as working hard as they say they've been working. Look where I spent my time in Operation Iraqi bullcrap. Go look at the Panorama Hotel on the island of Crete. I stayed there 39 days. Go look at it. I got per diem to stay there. That's what funded my mom's car rental to drive my dog out from Reading to Omaha back in 2003. Yeah, see, they make these occasions, and then they pay themselves to be at these occasions. Per diem, tax-free, hazardous pay. Freaking dude, anybody that's like any kind of lieutenant major up, they are fucking loaded. They got real estate in places all over the world. So like these real estate developers, yeah, they're military, it's all the club, man. People are putting it together, and I'm just like, follow it. They all go back home, and they all end up like as city planners, and they all end up in the commissions and making the decisions, because they have the narcissistic freaking mentality, and in their minds they're making the world right. It's a huge game of it's a white greedy man's game of chess, and it's a modern day Sims. That's what these freaking narcissists are freaking. They got an idea of how the world should be, and then they put themselves in the position to make the world so they get to freaking dance, puppet, dance, all that shit. And as a spiritualist, I'm just like, people are so stupid. I can't believe how stupid people are. It's like fighting. It's like people are not very, and they don't even really try to educate themselves. They don't. Sorry, Benny. Benny's having a dream. Leave him to his dream. Restless buddy butts. Luna already has her drugs on board. She did pretty good last night. But people are finding out. All I see in the world, all I see is the spiritual war of ego and spirit that people are fighting within themselves. And then the war that they are having in it. I look at my feed. I remember one 4th of July here. I hung out and met. It was the last 4th of July he was alive. He was like 94 years old. In the club that the circles that I used to run around in, he was the Surgeon General of the Air Force at one point, like a 3-star general, lieutenant general. And I'm just like, and I was just an airman basic because I was on the chunky chicken because fat guys told me I weighed too much, and 60 sit-ups in a minute was okay. But my body was, because I was built, because I was all muscle, and muscle weighs more than fat, but it's they're weird calculations that made me have to go to the gym. But hey, I learned about fitness, and I'm still fit today because of it. And I understand the value of fitness, and they're all fat, eating Viagra, wondering why their wives don't go anymore because, well, quite frankly, they're disgusting. And it's no wonder that the human race is slow to a stroll. It really isn't, because, dude, you guys really have let yourself go. And then the egomaniacs that have dipped so far on overcompensating, like the gym rats and stuff like that, you know, all aggressive and stuff. You know, hey, and ladies, I got a rude awakening for you. If they're turning you around, that nice hourglass figure, dudes look the same. An hourglass figure, it looks the same. Head down, dude, chick, it looks the same. So we're stepping into a realization that freaking people are like, oh my god, everybody's not 100% straight, what? It's really, well, there's that, how's that for verification? Dude, it ain't all love and light, kids. Anyway, I was thinking about earlier, the only webmaster that I recognize as a webmaster is a spider. So in tech is just such a fallible place. I'm hoping that the spiritual, if you are a spiritual minded being and you're a programmer, email me at straightmadepeoplelike-rainbows2 at gmail.com, because I'm not a programmer. I don't have that mind. I have the human computer interface. I don't know how to put what I see in, but I know. And I'm about to email a guy that I knew when I worked at Creighton. Brilliant mind. Maybe it's time to reach out to, yeah, I think it's time, because I have an idea for, because open source is going to come back. More open source platform. I know that I just installed the Brave, its browser for Mac OS. I'm playing around with that. I haven't tried a live or anything around. I'm a techie. I'm in IT. That's what my degree's for. I just got grounded. The universe grounded me about 4 years ago when I moved to Oregon. Is when well, I've been waking up since I freaking cracked my first chakra on Mount Shasta when I was 22. Back in the early 90s. I mean, I've been a lot of places, I've seen a lot of things, and I come across people, I'm like, so where you been in your life? Oh, I just grew up in Salem. I just lived here my whole life. I'm like, really? So I hope people are venturing out. I was looking up some stats earlier, because all this fear, it's just all fear. People have been trying to tell me what I need to be afraid of my whole fucking life, and I'm just like, bitch, I got raped when I was 10 months old. What's the worst thing that's going to happen to me after that? What? It's pretty much downhill from that, right? And that, I'm a storyline that has happened to a fucking gazillion boys and girls too. Because when people in their ego, and they're rich, and they're unimaginative, and they're always told that they can do nothing wrong, they do weird shit. And we're finding it out. And looking at frickin' old boy Spacey and frickin' old girl on the throne. Yeah, who's surprised? Nobody. Rich people that wear purple velvet and that have that much money, while so many of the people that they share their land with are suffering in the streets. That's an imbalance. That's a creepy pervy imbalance. And trust me, I know who the creepy pervy are. They all wear the same shoes. They all wear the same brands. They all drive the same cars. They all eat at the same restaurants. It's just all a club. You just gotta put the pieces together. Oh, yeah! They're all in the same fraternities. They have been for years. And their brothers and uncles and sisters have all been too. See, people have always underestimated me, and then I've always excelled. That's the only way I ended up at Offutt Air Force Base, sticking my arm out the door at the hangar door on 9/11, flipping Baby Bush the bird. I was supposed to be a telephone service person. That was my original job, and you know how weird stuff happens all the time? Things that you can't explain. I was at MEPS and I started my period. I was 3 pounds over. I'm like, dude, let me walk around, or let me run around the block, and somebody give me some trash bags from their desk. I'll put those on. Let me run around the block a few times. It's water weight. I started my period, and they're like, nope, come back in 3 weeks. I had already lost 36 pounds in like 28 days to make that weight, and then they postponed it, and I was just like, I was supposed to be leaving. My tech school was supposed to be in Florida. Nope. And then what happened was, went back later, or had to come back, and then it was like, oh, today's the last day of the fiscal year. You're going to have to come back into these. And this is from bus rides from Redding to Sacramento, back and forth. They're just dicking with my, and this is my, I'm like, I'm sleeping. This was 20 years ago, and the same planetary alignments are lining up. It's like the powers that be are trying to hold down the powerful, and then, but it's just like, you can until the planets line up, and then it's just like, people have always underestimated me. They just don't think I'm. But then it wasn't until later in life when I started figuring out that's because they don't understand the power in which they have in themselves. So how are they going to understand any power that I got in me? See, all people do is see me, and they're just like, she's scary. I've never put my hand on another human being in anger, so what makes me scary? So it makes me think that they put their hand on somebody in anger. Because I have explosive energy. My energy is freaking pop. And when I get loud, I speak from, I never made it to Sarge, but when I get Sarge Marge, it ain't no joke. I can fancy, I can, if I wanted to, I could go into a Winco or a freaking Walmart and command the attention of the whole fucking place. It's all my training. It's what Heyo could do. Listen to what I'm saying. Y'all are up here. You need to be here. Everybody needs to just bring it down here, because people, see, that's the thing is all these stats and numbers. I was looking up the Rona numbers today. I'm like, so what's all this big deal about? People are starting to get tickets in California. Not everybody's getting shamed. If you ain't for God, you ain't, and I won't wear a mask. I haven't had running one in 3 years, but thanks for wearing a mask for me. And all these kids going, wear a mask, shaming, wear a mask. How about free will? How about your right to choose, kid? How about you don't sterilize everything, go outside and play in the dirt, get an immunity, build up an immune system, and then you don't need to worry about viruses and stuff like this. All this is something else on the list. Look at all the other things on the list. Heart disease, alcoholism. Look at all the things that are already on the list that people don't give a fuck about. And this is just something on the list that is making all those things that they don't care about more pertinent. So it's the people that are running scared that haven't taken the time to freaking walk around the block or put the spoon down when they're sad. They're the ones that are running scared. I would too. Yeah, now and again you get the healthy one, just for good measure, just for balance. It's all karmic, dude. It don't fucking matter what kills you. When it's your time, it's your time. It's how you live in the goddamn dash. And people have been freaking being a gash in the dash. Being a big old gash in the dash. Everywhere I look, people are gashes in the dashes. Just being a big old gash in the dash. My feeds on Facebook, I can't even, on days like this, I can't go on Facebook, Instagram I stay off, because the boats just keep getting bigger. And the waistlines keep getting bigger. And it's really quite disheartening that people are just growing in ego. The egos are growing. I'm not seeing a lot of spirit. I'm not seeing a lot of the integrity. But the astrology keeps talking that people are going to come into it, so I'm holding out, because it's never been wrong before. It's never been wrong before. I've always looked at the stars for my guidance. It's like nature and music. It's my best friend, and synchronicity, and because mostly people are the same. They're just gonna if you have any kind of expectation from a human being, they're only going to disappoint you. So try not to have an expectation, but you know how freaking hard that is? I got to meditate today. The first time, man, I was so heady. I'm just like, dude, I don't even want to know anybody. I'm a nomad. somebody, that reminds me of a funny story. I wonder where that book is. In Nebraska, I got laid off. It was one of those deals that they hired me for a special project, but I wasn't told it was a special project. So at the 90 days, I thought I was walking into HR to have a conversation to up my, up my pay scale, negotiate salary, and they gave me my walking papers. And I wasn't surprised. The company was run by cokeheads, and that's what egomaniacs do. That's what they do. That's how they act. They don't act above board. They act shady, and but they buy all their freaking everybody grazes around food all the time. They just keep them in that freaking. That's how the Midwest is. They just keep them in a freaking catatonic freaking food coma all the time, and everybody just keeps getting fatter and fatter and go big red. And it's all tradition and all that stuff. Hopefully they'll wake up to the fitness craze too. Hopefully people are just wake up to their spirit and just not buy into it. I did too. I was like 200 pounds living in Nebraska. Hey, and incidentally, Omaha beef steaks, they're from California. Yeah, everything's a racket, man. Everything's just bullshit. Anyway, so I got laid off, and in between my I qualified. As the only time I ever collected employment since I started working when I was 15 years old. I had my first job at Central Valley High School. That's the high school I worked at, or graduated from too. Then I worked at Carter House Science Museum in Reading. That was kind of cool. Anyway, so I had to go report and see a unemployment person, because that's what they do. Is they assign you a caseworker. It's just all freaking bureaucratic bullshit. And I'm just like, I think about it's just circles they make you dance and go through, and I hate going through it, and I'm not cooperative, and it's just nonsense. And the way my mind works, it's just So I try not to have any kind of expectation on how these things are going to go. So I go in and I sit in this lady's cubicle, and we start talking, and I had already had my Kundalini awakening that was recorded. That's when my migraines happen. My third eye, my pituitary gland, I got it. Actually, it was enlarged. They were talking pituitary disease, all this autoimmune disease stuff, because I had a spiritual awakening. They just actually had it recorded on a CAT scan, and then later they'd done a MRI, and the margins had gone down. Yeah, and then when I got to Nebraska, they got worse, and then so they gave me a rating for the migraines. They upped it, and then a year later, I'm like, dude, they're even worse, and they're like, wait a minute, we don't think that you just. So they had to put this. So they put me through the hoops to prove it, and it's just the VA is a mess. It's a nightmare. It's a bureaucratic nightmare. They just create more offices and then remodel the offices that they have, and then hire their buddies, and it's just more of the same bullshit and the money doesn't get to the people. So if people want to help people, freaking put money in fucking their PayPal accounts. Don't stop donating money to these organizations, because all you are fucking doing is paying for their goddamn ego and their Teslas and Audis and shit. That's all you're doing. It's more of the same. It's no different than the freaking cities taking the stats and the taxes, and then buying fleets of vehicles with city of. Oh yeah, how come I live in the city? Can I go borrow one of your trucks to move? No, it's city, but it's the taxpayers that pay for all that stuff. And we pay for the maintenance and all the carpool. People don't realize what it goes into to maintain just the fleet of vehicles for any large organization. It's pretty wild. People don't think about the logistics of most things, and, well, people like me do. That's all we do. We're always just thinking about stuff, waiting for life to start. Just thinking about stuff. So this woman gives me a book. She's like, I feel like I need to give you this book. She gives me this book. It's called the Nomad Photographer or something like that. I gotta find it. I don't have a lot of stuff. I live out. That's the thing, is we've always bugged out. We've always lived as minimalists, because things are just things. Mom was kind of a hoarder for a while, so I'm like, I overcompensate by wanting to live simple. So, anyway, It's just that interesting that the people that are put in your life are always in your life for a reason. They're either to show you you're going to live in your spirit or you're going to live in your ego. And when people live in their ego, this is the world that we get. When more than 51% of the population of the planet are living more than 51% in their ego, this is what we get. So people have to step back in and compensate it into the 51% side of their spirit, and we'll be all right. It ain't hard to do. Just stop living like you in it to win it, and it's all made up reindeer games, stocks, politics, religion. It's all made up to get you to give them your money. Stop doing that. It's all pretend. I don't know how else to say it. There go the bloomies. So, I have a lot of pressure in my eyes today, too. Yes, it's true. So what we're going to do for the rest of our evening, I'm going to close the window in the living room. All the dogs are in here. They're all asleep. As you can see, they are comfortable. Nobody is under duress. Mom is sleeping in there. She sleeps. Her spirit ventures out. Her spirit goes out of her body. I'm just like, she's one of those that gasps for air when she comes back in. People talk about talk about like sleep paralysis and stuff like that. See, because that's all I see. All I see is like, well, when we sleep, our spirit ventures out. Our spirit, with our shadow side, all of our aspects, it ventures out. Sometimes it gets entangled with other shadow shit while it's venturing out. Dude, all dreams are our spirit having experiences in higher dimensions of times, using times of our incarnation, of previous incarnations, past, future incarnations, because time ain't linear. It's all all at the same time, and your spirit just remembers information and data by freaking vibration. We're just human computers. Our organs have the same freaking functions that processors do. The brain processor, the power source, the heart. It's as within, so as without, Artificial intelligence already lives by imposed media thoughts. It's true. So, anyway, that's about all I got for now. I hope you all have a nice, safe evening. Peace.